Hello and welcome to the video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Accelgor with the new move Energy Ball on this Pokemon. And honestly, I feel like this is the weirdest community day ever. Because yes, we have two Pokemon that are kinda the same. Like, and of course they're kinda related to each other because you have to trade those Pokemon in order to actually evolve them. But both Pokemon that are released here really got really weird moves for themselves. I have no idea why we have them, and I don't know who actually is going to be happy with them. Yeah, today we want to take a look at Accelgor. Accelgor could have been a very interesting Pokemon, having already Bug Buzz, which is the best kind of bug type move, other than Mega Horn. Mega Horn is a little bit better. We have a Water Shuriken, one of the best fast moves in the game. We have a Horrific typing, which is what it is, but we would have at least basically the asset of having a good stab move and an energy generating fast move. What we would have needed now is a charge move that is cheap, still does something and gives it like the best case basically some coverage. That would be ideal. What did we get? A worse Bug Buzz with a grass typing. Great. I just don't really get it. I honestly really don't get this community day. But yeah, today we want to take a look at this Pokemon so you don't have to. And this is one of the Pokemon where I hope now that U-Turn is going to get added eventually, but it has 35 energy move in order to make this Pokemon solid, because Energy Ball, spoiler alert, is not going to be the move that you want to have. And this is the mad thing. Like, we have two Pokemon here for the community today, and for both of them, if you go ahead and go to like Ultra League, for example, and you go for the meta rankings, what you will see is that for neither of them, the move is going to be the recommended move that is coming from this community today. So unless there's like a long-term plan of buffing Razor Shell, which I could definitely see, and buffing Energy Ball, which I cannot really see currently, this community day doesn't really make any sense at all. And I don't know, like, it just is a very, very weird feeling there, because Accelgor, most they would have a little bit of play at least, if you would have given a little bit of a better move. Looking at the moves that this Pokemon can learn, they most they would have needed to add in a completely new move, because the moves that it currently learn are just not really that great. It would actually learn Mud Slap as well, which is hilarious, but it has a wide move pool, but most of the moves that it can learn are currently not in Pokemon Go or are very like high energy moves. So yeah, sadly, I'm not sure. Like, let me know down below what you think about this community today. I just find it very, very weird on how everything is happening here around Accelgor, as well as, of course, the other Pokemon, which I showcased already early on, the Escavalier, which actually worked out well, but not because of the move. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we want to have here, of course, the Accelgor with the Focus Blast, because I wanted to try to trap some of those normal type Pokemon, which are just basically everywhere in the current meta. Turns out this just didn't work out at all. Like, I was never able to hit a single Focus Blast, spoiler alert for the video here, at all. I either didn't get there, or I either got not the Pokemon out. I don't know why I did never get the normal type out for the opponent. The Pokemon that I always had against my Accelgor was basically the opponent's Slowbro, which is a complete hard counter to it. So yeah, like, this is definitely something that did not really help you today. And it just made this all a little bit more awkward. A move, by the way, that I would also like to see for especially Bug-type Pokemon that I hope gonna get added to the game is gonna be Leech Life. Leech Life would be a very cool Bug-type move that would mostly give you a guaranteed defense boost, which is really important for especially the Bug-type Pokemon that are currently around. Looking at the Pokemon that would learn this move, basically all of them would like to have like some kind of defensive boost for it. And Accelgor would be one of the Pokemon that could learn Leech Life. So this would be one of the moves that I would love to see in the game. Maybe like 35 energy, 50 damage, and the guaranteed chance of boosting your defense by one stage, because you only have it on squishy Pokemon anyway. This actually would have helped. But yeah, here today, of course, it doesn't help, because Energy Ball is a garbage coverage move. I have to say, I'm sorry, like, you don't really need this one. Like, you really don't need this one. Like, the main weaknesses of Accelgor, I guess, are rock types where you can use it, but rock types don't really exist. And yeah, that is basically it. Like, literally, like, yeah, against water type Pokemon, but Bug Buzz is not gonna be way worse because they have Stab and it's just a better move. It is such a weird choice, but like, there would have been some options for Niantic to do something and do something creative, and that's like the thing that I really don't understand about this community day, because even the other one, like the Escavalier, I feel like would have had some potential with just a different move on it. Like if it had a better fast move all of a sudden, the Escavalier would have been coming kind of back to where it was supposed to be before. But like with the recent change, it just doesn't really help. So yeah, today, I don't actually think I really want to talk too much about the gameplay. I have to say, like, yeah, we can commentate a little bit over it. But Accelgor, please don't build it. That's the only thing I can say about it. You're gonna see some still fun battles here. We still maybe see some KOs that we can get with this Pokemon. But just please don't build it. I actually have the Shadow variant as well, which I have a good IV variant of, but I have it still with Frustration, which I can build eventually. But this boy doesn't really help. For example, by the way, for Escavalier, which we had before, it would learn, for example, Fury Cutter, which I would assume would be better than what it currently has. It would learn Fell Stinger, which would give it a guaranteed boost on its attack instead of having a 50% chance of dropping the opponent's defense, which would have been better. Like, even for this Pokemon, there would have been so many opportunities, or like even extra, to give this Pokemon some better moves that are even already in the game, that I just find it very, very weird on how everything is going here right now. But yeah, anyway, we're going to see here that we can go for the nice energy ball, which is going to get not even the knockout against the Slowbro. We can go for the full farmer at least. In comes Licky. We just don't have the health to go for a Focus Blast, and at this point this game is kind of over. What can we do? The opponent goes for the Body Slam. We can still survive this one. They're going to go into their Ariados. We can let the move go through, I guess, but we have no chance of knocking out the Licky. With our Slowbro, we're going to still try our best to go for the full farmer and then for the Scald. But as you will see here, we just forfeit. And honestly, I have to say, out of all of the Pokemon that have been released so far, like in terms of Community Day moves, I actually do think that this was the worst Community Day ever. Like, I can't actually remember a single one that was worse than this one here. Especially, again, you have the 3x XP for catching Pokemon, which is, in my opinion, the worst kind of bonus to it. Like XP, you always kind of generate quite easily. Kind of maybe even hatching X is a little bit worse than this. But even if I take a look at all of the other community days there, like all of them had at least a little bit of play, or made like sense because like starters, like of course something like a tapping community day didn't really work out that well. But at least like they gave some interesting Pokemon something. Like there was, for example, of course the Shiftry community day there before, which wasn't great, but like it still gave like at least a move that is okay to use. Energy Ball is just a clear, worse move than what we had before. And also the other one, I have to say, Razor Shell, I don't think is ever going to be valid really currently, at least without a buff or something towards it on the Escavalier. So I don't know, like for you, that's the thing as well, I would love to see in the comment section, what is in your opinion the worst community day ever? For me, I think it is this one. I can't see a single community day that was worse than this one. And that's kind of sad. But yeah, let's move on to the next opponent here. Let's take a look here a little bit at some gameplay and maybe see some weaknesses of this team. We kind of literally have like the basic meta Pokemon here that should always work with Slowbro as well as Licky. The idea is I kind of want to like mainly play out the Slowbro matchup and then try to have still alignment later on, and then have still the anti-fighter in terms of the Escavalier, and then basically trying to use the Licky as just a very neutral Pokemon. Turns out that never really worked out that well. Like that's the thing as well. Like we're gonna be able to always kind of get out the fighting type Pokemon. I have to say, fighting type Pokemon have been quite common today. Like literally on nearly every single team I've seen like 1 or 2 fighting type Pokemon. So Love Cup is kind of getting a lot of fighters right now. And as we will see here, the Accelgor gonna have to take a Thunder Punch. It doesn't really work for it. But again, like I would really like to know for you, what was the worst community day for you? For me, this is actually this community day at all. I honestly don't really know what is happening here. I do think, by the way, that the next community day is going to be a very interesting one, depending on how Niantic is going to do that, because I could see it being the Skeledirge, which we just saw going down. And this would mean that Torch Song going to get added and Plasma going to get added, which might help this Pokemon out a little bit as well, even though it's already a very good Pokemon. So I'm excited for this, but this community day just was nothing, to be fair. But to be fair, we also had like so many community days already. At this point, I think we're like over 50 community days in. And I guess Niantic just, I don't know, like it just doesn't really have it in it anymore. There's so many Pokemon though that still could just get a really good move and would be very, very good then. So I am honestly kind of surprised on how everything kind of went here for this community day. Just having two Pokemon that both are not great and both get pretty garbage moves is not really worth a community day in my opinion. And that's the thing as well, which I feel like in Pokemon Go is happening quite frequently recently. Like back in the day, we were always kind of looking forward really like towards like the community days. And nowadays it feels like you a lot of times just get absolute nonsense in there that just have no play and is just not thought through. And I feel like this is again like one of those. But like again, some people actually did only get the shinies here, which would have been nice for them. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just really don't understand the community today. But again, like for you, if you had a great time, that is definitely happy. I'm not gonna say how people are gonna have to feel. I had still an okay time with the community day itself. Like I just playing it just a tiny bit. But yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna move on here, Sean. Already the second to last battle again. I didn't really want to commentate too much here. If you want to know how this team actually worked for me, I went 0 and 15. And that's the main reason why I didn't really want to commentate here, because what can I say other than please don't build this Pokemon. Accelgor, especially with Energy Ball, is hot garbage, like literally not a Pokemon you should ever use. And yeah, as you will see here, the body slam is coming through. This is going to allow us to get some solid damage against the opponent. We're gonna go ahead and go for the brutal swing here as well. This is going to allow us to get some shields. But again, at this point you already know how this is gonna go at the end of the day, because it's not gonna go well for us. We're gonna see the Alomomola coming in. There were maybe 1 or 2 battles I could have won if I played a little bit better, by the way. Like, it's not that every single battle was unwinnable either. But yeah, definitely having basically just 2 Pokemon on a team doesn't really help. Like, Accelgor has garbage stats, has like 1,500 I think overall stats, which means you have a ton of attack, which is not always a bad thing, but in this case definitely a bad thing, because oh, you also have one of the worst typings with bug typing, which basically doesn't hit anything, but you don't even have a stab move here, because it's better to have the community day move that doesn't have any coverage against current meta other than like Alomomola, where it does 50% of the health, which is also not that great because the move itself isn't great, and Focus Burst, which never was able to hit. So I don't know. I honestly just don't really know what was happening in this community day. But again, if you want to see the other video where I actually talk about the battles and whatever, which is going to be about its kind of brother, Escavalier, check out the video on the end card then as well, because yeah, that one I actually went quite decently with this Pokemon, but again, like Razor Shell just doesn't help with it. So yeah, this is going to be kind of already it, of course, for the video as well. This is going to be the last battle. I just mainly talked on how things could have been better, like for the moves that for both of the Pokemon would have been fine. I would have loved to see Leech Life on this Pokemon, which I think would have helped a lot, especially if it gets a guaranteed defense boost. I would have loved to see Foul Stinger, Fury Cutter, or something even like Smart Strike or something like this as a new move on the Escavalier, which actually would have helped them, because both of the Pokemon are not in the meta right now, especially Escavalier has a ton of potential. I would even say that the yeah, this Pokemon here, forgot the name of it again, the Accelgor, would have had some potential because you have the great fast move of Water Shuriken and already some solid coverage moves on it. And like both of them just get completely screwed up from whatever they all try to do here. And it's just kind of annoying. Like, it's just kind of annoying, I feel like, because they could have been really, really cool. And like, it's not even exciting. Like, that's the thing as well. Like, I was thinking, do I even want to make a video about this Pokemon? I see a lot of people just not gonna make a video about it because it is just not exciting. But like, there would have been so many different options to help those Pokemon. And it's just always like the thing with Niantic, which kind of bothers me the most, is the game idea behind it is genius. Like, the game idea behind Pokemon Go is genius. It's the main reason why you play it. But like, the amount of wasted opportunities and potential for the game is ridiculous. And that's something I don't really like. But yeah, also a Pokemon I don't really like is Accelgor, sadly. Cool Pokemon design itself, I like that one, but sadly really bad in the Go Bad League. I went 0 and 15 with this team, so please don't do it at home, and I will see you then. Bye bye.